Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Monday, January the 24th. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am here to discuss the NBA main slate tonight, which is 4 games this evening. So it will be a pretty tidy schedule, but some good games with a lot of information and certainly some really good contests out there. So before we jump into that, I have to mention this weekend of football. Unbelievable games. All 4 games were just, if you're not a sports fan or you don't have a heartbeat, if you weren't into those games, good, bad, or indifferent, if your team won or lost, that was fun to watch. Insanity all over the place. So who knows who's going to take this Super Bowl, but it was fun to watch. I know our guys did a terrific job this weekend covering all the football. There was so much of it, but it was a great time. I had to mention it because I just couldn't believe it. So it was some good stuff. But we had a great weekend. We had did real well in golf. It could have been monster takedown, but my 2 top guys, Cantlay and Rahm, just decided they were going to put it in neutral. Neither one of them went low really this weekend. So it was strong cashers all over the place, but not the takedowns that it was looking like starting on Saturday. So we're going to get back after it again this week. Another really good tournament that Andrew and I will be working the podcast on Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that one. All right, I want to dive right in. I know everybody's got a busy schedule starting their work week on Monday. With these 4 games, we can get past them pretty quick. It's not the normal monster schedule on Monday, so it shouldn't take that much time. All right, first game. Let's dive in. Remember, if you want to join us, dfscoachtalk.com. That's where you can find us for as little as even 3 days for $10. Charlotte Hornets and the Toronto Raptors. Let me see here. I am not getting. Let me make sure I have us. I'm going to have to go here because they don't have the spread up where I normally have it. So I'm going to go page 2. All right, Charlotte. Knicks at the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's why. Never mind. I'm a day off. I moved ahead to see what tomorrow's schedule was, and I counter-crossed myself here. I'm back on the right page. New York Knicks, Cleveland Cavaliers. Bumpy start for me, but we got this. It is Cleveland -6 and a pretty pathetic 202. Definitely by far the lowest number on the board. You've got some slow teams with some good defense. Cleveland's favored by 6, 202, 98 implied for the Knicks, 104 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Knicks come in 23-24. Cleveland comes in 28-19. Designations here, 2 important ones. Kemba Walker, questionable. Always big news because he does completely affect that backcourt rotation and usage with Burks, Quickly, and Fournier and himself. So we need to watch that. Mitch Robinson, I think he's probably going to be out, to be honest with you. He's listed as questionable, but he turned his ankle pretty bad in that game yesterday. And it is a second night of a back-to-back for the Knicks as well. Cleveland is on a island game. Nerlens Noel is probable, so if Robinson can't go, Noel's going to become a very popular play. And then guys that are out, Arcidiacono and Rose. For Cleveland, Rondo is questionable, and that does make a difference because he will scoop some of those minutes from Garland at point. They'll either move Garland over to the 2 or he'll sit a few extra runs. And it being a back-to-back, that's a concern. And he affects affect Garland's assist ratio. So I want to find out the Rondo news, which we will have because it's the first game. And then Lauri Markkanen got hurt in that game yesterday as well. He is out for this game. So does create some more scoring need from guys, the big guys, Mobley and Allen. All right, let's look at a couple things here. Knicks slowest team in the league, 30th in pace, So we know that that's just the way they play. They're going to back it down, slow it down. Cleveland is 21st. So neither side very strong on the pace side, but both teams are strong defensively. So we're going to pull that up too and do this on the move because they were updating the number. And I wanted to make sure that we got the numbers that were included yesterday's action. So let's, again, this is going to be a slow pace. And then as far as defensive efficiency in this game, you've got the Knicks playing a little bit better defense than they were at the beginning of the year, but they're still 18th in the bottom half. Cleveland, we know, has been fantastic defensively. They have really turned it up, and they are sitting at third. So that is terrific. Knicks, actually, I did just update it. They're 13th, and Cleveland third. So two good defenses, slow pace, a couple of key guys out. Buyer beware in this game. Let's get the news first before we make any real strong decisions here. But, in the situation where we need to possibly go to Mobley or Allen, I think is going to be a smart play. 7-9 for Mobley, 8K flat for Allen. One of those two generally is going to get enough rebounds, stocks, to really pay off. But not a game of focus here. Maybe a one-off at best. But let's keep an eye on that news. Noel's probably going to plug in as my center if Mitch Robb is out. So I'll go there as well. All right, game two. Chicago Bulls, Oklahoma City Thunder. Chicago favored by only 1.5 against the Thunder. That's pretty rough. The Bulls are not playing good basketball. 108.5 implied for Chicago, 107 for the Thunder. So you got a 215.5 total. So there's two games with that same total. So middle of the road, but an interesting Vegas line, that's for sure. Chicago comes in 28-17. The Thunder are 14-32. All banged up, the Bulls are. Zach LaVine and Javonte Green are both questionable. So there's the potential that LaVine is back. And that obviously has a massive impact on the whole entire unit for Chicago. So very important news that we need to get there. Guys that are already out: Ball, Caruso, Jones, and Williams. Caruso's going to be out a while with that wrist, and that was a shame to see him go down like that. But Grayson Allen did get a 1-game suspension. I don't know if that's even enough. That was pretty flagrant foul. On the Thunder side, very simple. They have Favors and Krejcicki, the guy that I can never pronounce, Vit Krejcicki. I like to say it every podcast because it stumps me. Krejci, Scrabble champion right there. All right, so let's look at statistically a little bit here what the deal is. We've got second night of a back-to-back for the Bulls. So they're struggling. They're on the road. They're a slight favorite, but it is the second night. Hopefully they get LaVine back. That will make a massive difference. They are 16th in pace, and the Oklahoma City Thunder are 11th. So completely middle of the road there for pace of play. As far as defensive efficiency, you've got the Chicago Bulls sitting at 18th, and Oklahoma City Thunder are sitting at, where are they? 17th. So both a little bit below average on the defensive side. A very weird game with not a lot of targets here. Oklahoma City has all their regulars back. Can always roll the dice with SGA or Giddey. We know both of those guys are effective, but you got to pay up for them. SGA is 9K, Giddey 7.3. You can go down to Dort at 5.2, but a lot of inconsistency there. And then the rest of the guys, it's too tough to count on anybody, to be honest with you. Chicago side, again, if Levine's in, that's huge because then we have some potential of Dort defending him a little bit. Right now, I think Dort defends DeRozan, who is really been their best player. We'll see how that goes. Levine is 8-4, so first game back, that's a bit of a reach. Kobe's up to 7K, so that also is not just a layup price-wise. DeRozan at 9-1, he's awesome. I think he's been playing great. He's been carrying him. But if the combination of Levine coming back and the fact of facing the torture chamber, I think, DeRozan may be a fade for me at 9-1, in that scenario. You can always look at Vuk. Vuk's 9-5. He's been very just average, though. And that's a big price for a guy that hasn't been blowing it up. And again, with Levine and DeRozan in there, that takes away from some of his usage. So I'm not a big fan of this game either. One off at best. I think the majority of my lineup is going to be from these last two games. And these last two games are at 8 and 9 o'clock. So we've got 7, 2 8s, and a 9 spread out a little bit. No super late games, but those are all Eastern times as well. All right, Indiana Pacers at the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans are a 3-point favorite. It's a 215.5 total. And you talk about teams not going in the right direction. I mean, the Pelicans, I read something yesterday that they want to try to make a run for that 10th playoff spot at 17-28. So, have at it, Pelicans, sort of an aggressive move. Whereas I think Indiana has made the decision, to more pack it in, make some trades, and look at next year. They're 17-30. So neither team playing good ball. A lot of issues for Indiana. You've got LeVert on a questionable tag. Very important news, as always. At least we already know Brogdon's out. He's been listed questionable 90 million games, and he always sits. He's out. McConnell, Sabonis, Turner, and Warren also out. So Indiana just decimated without question. For the Pelicans, you've got Devontae Graham, questionable. And then you've got out, you've got Brandon Ingram, monster news there. Luzada and Cheeseburgers Williamson, he's out. So definitely some value in this game. This is the game where you can get some guys that could do very well and fly a little bit below the radar. Both of these teams, by the way, are on an island game. So let's look at both sides. I'm going to have a lot of exposure here. It's going to allow me to pay up to a few of the guys that I want. If LeVert's in, great play. If he plays with no restrictions, I mean, he should dominate play. If he's out, then Chris Duarte becomes the number one option for me for the Pacers. I also like Goga Bitadze at center. He's been getting the load of the minutes with Turner and Sabonis out, and he's been doing well. He's been getting to his number. So Duarte and Bitadze, they did well for me the other night. I see no reason not to go back to those guys again. Couple other options that you have here, and there are a few. Justin Holiday at 5'4", Torrey Craig at 4'9", Jeremy Lamb at 4, O'Shea Brissett at 4'5", and Kiefer Sykes at 3'4". And Sykes possibly would move into that starting lineup if LeVert sits. So tons of value there. We need to get a grip on who's in and out for sure with the LeVert news, but I can see dialing up a couple of Pacers here that really can get it done. I really like Chris Duarte. I'm impressed with his play, but only if LeVert does sit. So I like this game. I think it's going to be a key one for me because it's going to be those middle to value guys that really have to step up. On the Pelican side, Josh Hart, certainly a great play at 7'4", and Herb Jones at 4'7". I think both of them are really good plays because you're going to have a lot of the backup players in here for the Pelicans, and massive usage opens up, certainly with Ingram out. If Devontae Graham sits, you've got really three guys you can talk about here. Garrett Temple at 3-1, Nikhil Alexander Walker at 3.8, and Jose Alvarado, who had a really nice game against the Knicks in Madison Square, he's 3.6. So guys that come into play, especially if Graham sits, I think you've got some good options there at big value. But paying up for Hart at 7.4, super value at 4.7 for Herb Jones, I think is a great play. If you want to go all the way to the top, you can go Joval. He's 8.3, and it's not that bad of a deal, really. I mean, price-wise, in a game where they're going to need more from him, obviously Indiana doesn't have that interior like they do when Sabonis and Turner in there. So, this could be the spot to go the infamous double centers here, Goga and Joval on DraftKings and Yahoo. So like this game, definitely some serious exposure here. All right, before we hit this last game real quickly, if you're watching this on YouTube, thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Also give us a quick comment, just hello if you want. That's cool enough. If you have a question, if you have a comment, that combination really helps us move up the algorithm on YouTube. Also, while you're at it, if you're on YouTube, up in the corner, you see that bell, hit that. That's an alert that will let you know when any of our podcasts post in any of our sports. So definitely pop that on there. Also, if you have a chance today and you want to catch some more information about today's slate, I'm going to be jumping on with a good friend of mine, Gundacker. He and I are going to do a live stream at 3 o'clock Eastern this afternoon. So you can catch that. Just look up Gundacker on YouTube or wherever you're checking out the podcast. But you can catch us there. He's also it's Run Sports, I believe, DFS Run Sports, I think. But just check it out. You'll see we go live. You can see us on Twitter, YouTube, whatever. Also, tomorrow is Andrew's Day. Big slate on a Tuesday, which is really weird. They're much bigger than Monday. So check out Andrew for sure tomorrow here in this spot doing the NBA podcast. He's always has some great insight on the slate. All right, last game. 9 o'clock game, Utah Jazz, Phoenix Suns. Phoenix -9, 222 total, 106.5 implied for the Jazz, 115.5 for the Phoenix Suns. Coming into the game, Utah 30-17, Phoenix 36-9. So big game, possible Western Conference preview here. Both teams on an island game. Utah is 15th in pace. Phoenix is 4th. So you're going to get some push up and down the floor. The tough part is Phoenix is the second best defensive efficient team in the league, and Utah is 10th. So you got two top 10 defenses, but you've got a lot of offensive firepower and, a lot of good options in this game. That 222 total, again, by far the most, 6.5 higher than any other line on the board. So certainly get some attention here. Where do we want to? Let's look at, first of all, the injuries here, the designations. Two massive ones for Utah. We've got Bogdanovich and Gobert both questionable. So that becomes massively important. We got to follow that news. Donovan Mitchell and Whiteside are already ruled out. So you're going to get some serious value if those guys are out in Conley, Clarkson, Ingles, and even O'Neal if they're out. If not, and we get them playing without restrictions, you got a lot of spots you can go on this Utah team without question. Phoenix, they have DeAndre Ayton is doubtful, so not counting him in right now. But they do have some other guys out. Crowder, which is an important piece for them. Kaminsky, Nader, Payne, so no backup for Chris Paul, and Saric. So neither team at full strength, but a lot of their key guys still in there. A ton of options here, no question about it. You've got, again, depending on that news, that's going to be the key. Because if those guys are out, then, you shuffle the deck here and have to look at a completely different situation. Conley, and Ingles. Conley at 7.2, Ingles at 5 would be two huge plays right off the bat. You're going to get a little more action for Rudy Gay at 4-2. Jordan Clarkson at 6-7. He never saw a shot he didn't like, so he may be firing and going in this game too. So a lot of definite possibilities from Utah. Want some exposure there, but want to try to get that news. I'm going to leave. This is the biggest advice for the day. Leave some space to do some late swap in that game. That is going to be important. Figure out the combinations where you can play some Phoenix guys if the Utah guys sit, etc. There's no other game at 9. It's the only game left, and you don't want to be in a situation where you have to switch out and like leave 1,000 salary on the board. So get that. Can do that several different combinations here in this last game. Chris Paul at 8-6 has been terrific. Devin Booker's had a hot streak. He's 9-4. He didn't shoot well the last game, but he had been on fire, and I like his possibilities here. He's one of my favorite pay-up guys today. Mikal Bridges' price is starting to leak up. It's 5-8, but still very fair for the ton of minutes that he's getting. Cam Johnson becomes a nice option with Crowder out. He's only 3-9, and he can get hot. The tough part is the center position. I mean, they had that amazing game by Bismack Biyombo, 21 real points, which, by the way, is his career high this late in his career. But he and McGee split. I mean, let's face it, with Ayton out, you're going to get like almost a 24-24 McGee and Biyombo. Can either one of them get there in that 24? Absolutely. But, if one gets hot and the other doesn't, you could go to where you're getting cheated on one of the guys. So tough call there. I'm probably not going to mess with that. I never like to mess with split time positions. So, but Paul, Booker, Bridges, Johnson, all, nice plays, I think. So again, a lot of exposure in that late game. The last 2 games I think are stronger. Set yourself up for win position here by allowing yourself some plans of action if you have to do some late swap. So that is it, my friends. A quick one today. Really bizarre. Only 4 games on a Monday, but that should give you a good idea of at least getting those lineups set and ready to go. If you want to join us, go to dfscoachtalk.com. We would love to have you jump in. And if you have any questions, you can always check us out on Twitter. We're at DFS CoachTalk. I am at Joe Sarvadi, JoeSarvadi. And just look forward to conversing with you. I'll always love to talk NBA, and skull sessions are my favorite thing, and love doing one-on-ones with our members. We do a lot of those and just talk it through contest selection, bankroll management, and then building those lineups. So, all right, have a great start to your week. Really enjoyed spending this time with you. You'll be catching Andrew on here tomorrow for a nice 9-game NBA slate. So he'll be covering everything tomorrow, and then I'll be back on Wednesday. So hope to catch you on YouTube or Twitter at 3 p.m. this afternoon on there with Gundacker. And other than that, I'll be back Wednesday. Andrew will be back tomorrow, and we'll both be looking to crush it in DFS.